For many years, Camilla was someone who caused a lot of arguments about the royal family. But since she and Charles got married back in 2005, people have slowly started to like her more. Something really surprising is happening with the royal family right now, and it's all about Queen Camilla. The palace just said something that could change her future forever. Is her spot in the royal family changing? And what does this mean for Prince William and his family? This news might shock you, and it's making people feel very strong emotions. Come with us as we find out about Camilla's possible future that nobody expected. There's a quiet fight for power happening inside the palace walls. The scene at Kensington Palace looked like something from a fairy tale. The sun made everything look warm and golden in the royal gardens. Camera people lined up with excitement, and people waited patiently, hoping to see Prince George wave, Princess Charlotte do something cute, or Princess Catherine smile gracefully. Everything seemed calm and normal until it wasn't. What people thought would be just another boring royal event quickly turned into something much more powerful and amazing. Prince William stood up straight at the speaking stand, his face calm, but serious. With Catherine next to him and their kids standing behind, he looked at the crowd with purpose. From the way he acted, it was clear that this wasn't just a normal appearance. There was real feeling behind his words, like something important was changing in the royal world. And then, just like that, he shared news that surprised everyone. Princess Charlotte was officially starting her royal duties. The crowd went completely silent for a moment before people gasped and cameras started clicking everywhere. People couldn't believe what they were hearing. It was a huge, game-changing moment. But even with everyone looking at the young royal family, one person missing stood out more than anything else. Queen Camilla wasn't there. She didn't come with the family, didn't smile for the cameras, and she never even said anything about it. Her not being there said more than any words could, and it made people everywhere raise their eyebrows and ask questions. People started asking questions right away. Was Queen Camilla left out on purpose? Did she disagree with what was announced, or was something bigger happening that we couldn't see? The palace didn't give any answers. The people who worked for the royals stayed quiet, and the officials wouldn't explain anything clearly. Still, people who know the royal family well hinted that things had been stressful behind the scenes for a long time, especially in the days before this big event. The public started to worry. Many people thought Camilla was slowly stepping back, while others felt she was being pushed out. Whatever the reason was, it became very clear that her place in the royal family was becoming unsure. What was supposed to be a proud moment for the future had accidentally shown some big problems happening. Right now, as William took control and Charlotte stepped forward into her new role, Camilla's silence didn't seem like an accident. It felt like it was done on purpose, like part of a quiet storm building behind closed palace doors. And that silence, and the missing person in such a big moment, said more than any official announcement ever could. It felt like the royal family was quietly changing things around, and nobody wanted to talk about it in public. People who know inside secrets later said that this moment hadn't come from nowhere. For months, William had reportedly been having important talks with leaders from different countries, talks that usually only the king would have. At the same time, Catherine had supposedly started doing more important work behind the scenes, giving advice and helping make decisions that went way beyond just showing up at events. All of this made one thing very clear. The future of the royal family was being shaped not just by old traditions, but by new choices. And Queen Camilla's quiet absence might have been the biggest hint that a new chapter had already started. Whether the palace was ready to admit it or not, usually, important royal jobs were handled by experienced people like Queen Camilla. Her steady way of doing things and calm attitude had quietly earned her respect, not only across the UK, but also in countries far away. She had often been the person to go to for tricky situations, someone whose quiet confidence made her feel reliable and safe. But lately, attention had started moving somewhere else, especially toward the younger people in the family. Princess Charlotte, even though she's still young and doesn't appear in public as much as her brother, was reportedly going to special media training classes much earlier than Prince George ever did. This small detail caught the attention of people who watched the royal family closely. It made people wonder if she was just getting ready with training early, or if something much bigger was being planned for her future. Some people saw it as a good step forward, a sign that the royal family was getting ready for a new modern time. But not everyone felt the same way. According to whispers from people close to the palace, Queen Camilla wasn't totally comfortable with the changes happening around her. It seemed like a quiet change was happening right under her nose, a change that felt to some like the older People were slowly being pushed out, while attention moved somewhere else. The royal family looked like it was going into a new time period, but not everyone seemed ready or willing to go along with it. Then after Queen Elizabeth II died, an even deeper mystery started to show up. Some palace insiders said that before her last days, the late queen had written 3 private letters. One letter was said to be for Charles, one for William, and one for Catherine. Nobody knows for sure what those letters said. No pictures, no leaks, no proof, just quiet guessing. But soon after she died, things started to change in ways that nobody could have predicted. William and Catherine started making bold moves. They seemed more sure of themselves, more focused, and even more determined in the way they handled royal business. People noticed a new energy in them, a quiet strength. It felt like something had changed behind the scenes, almost like they had gotten a gentle okay to lead differently. Some people believed that the queen, with all her wisdom, might have sensed the trouble that was coming, and if she really had left those letters, maybe they included private advice or encouragement, maybe even telling the younger royals to step forward when King Charles might hold back. It's all still unknown. But the timing of everything made people ask questions. William's announcement about Charlotte hadn't felt random. It felt heavy with preparation, like it had been planned for a long time, which left one big question hanging in the air. Where did all of this leave Queen Camilla? As new faces took the main stage and the younger royals started shaping the path ahead, Camilla's role suddenly felt unsure. Was she stepping back because she wanted to, or was a new royal time happening without her? Whatever the truth was, the silence around her became louder with each day that passed. Prince William's growing role in the royal spotlight didn't come without creating some problems behind the scenes. Tensions quietly got stronger when he made a surprising decision that got everyone's attention. He chose to skip an important event hosted by King Charles and instead went to visit a children's hospital in Manchester. The difference in how the media reacted was immediate and sharp. William's visit became the top story. Pictures of him comforting young patients, smiling with families, and connecting with hospital workers spread everywhere. People praised him for being easy to relate to, warm, and king-like. Meanwhile, the event hosted by King Charles barely got any attention. There was little news coverage, almost no talk about it. It felt like the king's presence had been completely overshadowed. People who understand royal matters suggested that William wasn't openly challenging the king, but that his actions were sending a quiet message. A gentle shift of power was happening, and it wasn't an accident. Queen Camilla didn't ignore what was happening. She reportedly felt hurt by the way things played out. To her, William's choice wasn't just about missing a formal event. It felt like a personal insult, both to King Charles and to the institution they were all supposed to support. And as whispers about Camilla's shrinking role continued, the news about Princess Charlotte stepping into a royal position only added more pressure. It was becoming harder to deny that the royal family was moving in a new direction. The problem was, not everyone agreed on whether that change was good progress or a silent rebellion against the old way of doing things. Behind closed palace doors, things got tense. According to people on the inside, Camilla was very upset when she heard William's announcement about Charlotte's new role. She reportedly said she was very worried, pointing out how young Charlotte still was. But people close to her believed the outburst wasn't really about Charlotte. It was about what Charlotte now represented. She stood for a future where Camilla was no longer an important figure. Camilla reportedly acted quickly, calling urgent meetings with important staff members. She demanded answers and wanted something done about it. Some reports say she asked Charles to step in publicly and remind the world who still had the power. But the king, said to be emotionally tired from all the crazy events, quietly chose not to get involved. His response, according to people who were there, hinted that he had already accepted the change and was prepared to let things happen on their own. That left Camilla in a tough spot. William and Catherine had taken the lead, and their influence was growing every day. Camilla found herself watching from the side, trying to fight against the wave of change, but realizing it was already too far ahead. What had once been a reaction had now turned into a struggle to keep up. And while most eyes were on William's every move and Charlotte's big moment, Catherine, with her usual calm and elegant way, stayed quietly in the background. But according to people close to the palace, her silence wasn't because she was unsure. It was planned. Every move, every step she took or didn't take was done carefully. In the middle of all the royal drama, she stayed calm, guiding from behind, while the future happened right in front of her. Catherine had spent years quietly learning everything about the royal world. She didn't just memorize schedules or go to formal events. She paid attention to people, understood the feelings behind the smiles, and learned about the hidden power games that shaped decisions. She knew when to step forward and when to stay back. Everything she did was planned, not because she wanted control, but because she was calmly prepared. Some close sources even said that before Princess Charlotte's first official appearance, Catherine had asked for private research to check how the public felt about the move. The results were very clear. People liked her, trusted her, and truly believed in her family's ability to lead the royal future. Her strength wasn't about being loud or taking big risks. It came from being steady, reliable, and always there. And as the structure of the royal household slowly started to change, Catherine's role changed too. She wasn't just standing behind Prince William anymore. She was helping design what would happen next. Her influence had grown quietly, but powerfully. When Charlotte walked out beside her father during that emotional announcement, the moment seemed to stop in time. She was still a young girl, yet the way she carried herself didn't show nerves or confusion. Instead, she showed calmness, quiet, confidence, and a sense of responsibility way beyond her years. That short walk wasn't just about family duty. It felt like the start of something brand new for the royal family. People around the world immediately noticed Charlotte's calm presence. She stood tall, lifted her chin gently, and looked straight ahead with a steady look. It wasn't just impressive, it was unforgettable. People who talk about the news started comparing her to Queen Elizabeth II during her earliest public events, pointing out how calm and grown-up she seemed. Others saw hints of Princess Diana in her warmth and the way she naturally made people around her feel comfortable. These comparisons weren't just about how she looked. They were about legacy. Charlotte had traits that reminded people of past queens and princesses, but with her own fresh energy. This wasn't just a simple introduction of a young royal. Charlotte was being presented as someone with her own voice and her own path. William's quiet gesture, as he guided her forward, didn't feel like part of a show. It felt like a gentle passing of trust. The world noticed right away. Online platforms lit up with support. Messages filled with love, admiration, and encouragement came flooding in from everywhere. Hashtags praising Charlotte's grace and potential started trending. People turned her quiet confidence into memes, celebrating her as the face of the future. News headlines across different countries started to echo the same message. A new star had stepped forward in the royal family. But underneath all the cheers was something more meaningful. Many people saw Charlotte as a sign of what the royal family could become. Not distant or stiff, but real, open, and easy to relate to. She wasn't just taking on duties. She was reaching into the hearts of people who had long hoped for something more personal from the royal family. Later, sources close to the palace revealed that none of this had been left to chance. Catherine had spent months gently getting Charlotte ready for this moment. She taught her not just how to stand or smile, but how to stay calm when everyone was watching. It wasn't about being perfect. It was about being true to herself. And that's exactly what Charlotte showed the world. While Prince George will still be the future king, Charlotte's place is becoming more special with each step she takes. She's not just there to watch from the side. She's building her own role, one that could shape the future of the royal family in ways nobody expected. And the most exciting part is, this is only the beginning. As the world continues to watch her grow, people are wondering, what might she do next? Could she become one of the most powerful royals of her time? Or will old traditions eventually slow her down? Nobody knows for sure. But that mystery, the open space ahead of her, is exactly what makes her story so interesting and why people everywhere can't look away. The moment the announcement was made, it didn't just stir up emotions inside palace walls. It sent a powerful wave through the public that was impossible to ignore. People reacted quickly and with strong feelings. Almost overnight, the focus changed. Even though King Charles and Queen Camilla stayed at the top of the royal structure, all attention turned to William, Catherine, and their children, especially young Princess Charlotte. By the next morning, news headlines across Britain were focused on Charlotte. Some praised her natural charm. Others called her the royal family's greatest surprise. But it wasn't only the news media causing this sudden excitement. It was the people themselves. Thousands of messages flooded social media, showing admiration for the direction the family was taking. Support poured in from every corner of the Commonwealth countries. In places like Australia, Canada, and New Zealand, people spoke openly about feeling a stronger connection with the royal family than they had in years. The message was loud and clear. The world was ready to see this new generation lead. Even beyond the public, The effect was being felt in official places. Diplomats and world leaders started to take notice. Some even started talking directly with Kensington Palace instead of the traditional Clarence House. Invitations to important events started to change in tone, putting more emphasis on William and Catherine's presence over anyone else's. Inside the palace, the change was just as obvious. Royal staff, who had once worked closely with Charles and Camilla, were now showing interest in joining William and Catherine's team. Behind the scenes, planning meetings became more exciting, filled with fresh ideas and a forward-thinking spirit. It was like a breeze of new energy had swept through the royal household. And Camilla noticed it right away. Sources close to the palace revealed that Camilla quickly felt her influence slipping away. Projects she had supported were quietly pushed aside. Ideas she had backed no longer seemed urgent. Discussions that once included her were now happening without her being there. Even though she didn't voice her frustrations publicly, people close to her could see how deeply it affected her. It wasn't loud. It didn't have to be. The change was already happening, and the public had made their feelings known. This wasn't about rejecting the royal family's past. It was about welcoming something new. William, Catherine, and Charlotte seemed to represent a different kind of royalty, not just in title, but in how they made people feel. They inspired confidence. They made the royal family feel human, modern, and genuine. That trust was more powerful than any old tradition. The difference in how the public saw them became impossible to ignore. Despite King Charles's long wait to become king, many people started to see him as tired or out of touch. Camilla, too, continued to face doubt. Her popularity among the public never quite settled, going up and down depending on the news. In contrast, William and Catherine's popularity only got higher. Charlotte, especially, touched hearts everywhere. She wasn't just seen as the younger sister of a future king. She became a sign of something brighter, a girl with strength, charm, and promise, standing with dignity. During her first major moment, in the public eye, parents praised her confidence. Teachers saw in her a great example for young students. Little girls across the world looked up to her, inspired by the way she carried herself. Even Prince George, though quieter and more shy, left a good impression. He didn't say a word, but the way he stood by his sister said plenty. It showed unity, strength, and support. Together, they looked like the future, in a steady, relatable, and strong way. What proved this change more than anything else was how news coverage around the world responded in the days that followed. Media outlets, both traditional and digital, started to change how they reported on royal news. The spotlight moved away from just King Charles and Queen Camilla. Now it was Charlotte's calm smile, Catherine's grace, and William's heartfelt leadership that filled screens, pages, and headlines around the world. The story had changed. And once the public decides on a new story, changing it back becomes almost impossible. People closest to the palace now admit that the shift in power isn't just temporary. It's settled into place. King Charles and Queen Camilla still do their royal duties. But it's clear who the world is watching now. All eyes are on the younger royals. And with that attention comes a different kind of pressure, one that gets heavier with each day that passes. Everything coming out of Kensington Palace is now under a microscope. Every smile, every sentence, even the smallest body language is being watched and judged by millions. People have built up high hopes for what this next chapter of royalty could be. And while the younger family members seem to welcome this responsibility, not everyone inside the royal circle feels the same way. There's now a growing curiosity. Can William, Catherine, and their children live up to everything the public hopes they will be? Can they truly bring in a new modern kind of leadership, while still holding on to the long-standing traditions that give the crown its meaning? These are questions that don't have easy answers. But one thing is very clear. The public has put their faith in them. And right now, that hope rests in the hands of a young girl, who hasn't even become a teenager yet, but who already carries herself with quiet grace and the strength of someone much older than her age. The announcement that surprised the world wasn't only about giving Charlotte more responsibility, it was a turning point, something much deeper than a ceremonial step. It marked a quiet revolution inside the royal house. William, Catherine, Charlotte, and George didn't just appear as the next generation waiting in line. They stepped forward, as a team, shaping what the future of royalty could look like. A future built not just on title or rules, but on kindness, honesty, and real connection with people. In contrast, Charles and Camilla, though still officially leading, have started to fade from the center. Their voices are softer now, their influence quietly slipping behind the scenes. And maybe somewhere deep down, even they recognized that what's happening was bound to happen sooner or later. This change wasn't forced. It came naturally because the world wanted something different. And the younger royals answered that call. But with all of this change, new questions come up. Will this fresh path give the royal family new strength and purpose? Or will the quiet fights inside the palace eventually come back to the surface? The answers may take time to show themselves. But for now, the heart of the royal family seems to beat in a new rhythm, one led by a young princess, her devoted brother, and two parents who are determined to lead with purpose and heart, and to show you that they are ready to take on responsibilities. Let's reveal how William and Catherine decided to use modern parenting for a warm family. William and Kate have chosen a parenting style that feels more relaxed and down-to-earth. They've created a home where their children are encouraged to speak up about how they feel. This kind of openness gives the public small looks into their world. Like when little Louis makes playful comments that show the normal ups and downs of family life. Behind the polished public image, their household has the same emotional twists and turns that many families deal with, even if they wear crowns. Camilla's journey into this royal family hasn't been easy. It took time and effort for her to find her place, not just within the royal institution, but also in the hearts of the public. However, one part of her life continues to stand apart, her relationship with William and Kate's children. While she shares a warm and easy closeness with her own grandchildren, things haven't worked the same way with George, Charlotte, and Louis. This difference draws attention to something many families quietly face: the difficulty of blending lives, emotions, and histories even in a palace. Mixing two different family dynamics isn't simple. Camilla's struggle to emotionally connect with the Wales children serves as a reminder of that, and while some people admire how far she's come, especially after years of public criticism, others still hold on to old hurt feelings tied to Princess Diana's memory. That emotional divide shapes how people interpret Camilla's relationship with the younger royals. Some wonder if George, Charlotte, and Louis hold back from getting close out of respect for their late grandmother. Others believe what we're seeing is just the usual strain that can exist in blended families. Maybe the reality is somewhere in the middle. As the children get older, their relationship with Camilla might change, perhaps becoming warmer or staying a little distant. Whatever happens, one thing is clear: their connection with Camilla will quietly shape how people feel about the royal family's future. Every smile, every moment of affection or silence between them could influence how the next chapter of the royal family is viewed by the world. The children of William and Kate carry the future of the royal family on their young shoulders, and how they handled their personal relationships within the family could shape what the royal family looks like in the years to come. The uneasy relationship between Camilla and the children of Wales shows deeper cracks behind the palace doors. It's more than just family tension. It's a sign of how hard it is for the royals to keep old customs alive, while also trying to keep up with a fast-changing world. These aren't ordinary family problems. They're happening under public pressure, ancient traditions, and the eyes of millions watching every move. Camilla's journey into William's world hasn't been smooth. Despite now being queen consort, she's still learning how to blend into a family that's already been through so much. Her relationship with William's children isn't cold, but it's clear there's a certain emotional distance. It's the kind of space that doesn't disappear overnight. She may have formed close ties with her own grandchildren, but with George, Charlotte, and Louis, it's been harder. That difference shows how blending two families, especially royal ones, isn't as simple as smiling for the cameras. The royal family's story has always been about loyalty, duty, and love. But it's also been filled with pain, misunderstandings, and healing. Camilla's rise to where she is today took strength, especially after years of harsh public judgment. But her connection with the children of Wales is still a delicate one. It takes time for trust to grow, especially when the past holds so many emotional memories. Their bond, or lack of one, has quietly become one of the most closely watched dynamics inside the palace. As the royal family looks toward the future, this relationship might matter more than many people realize. The children are growing, their understanding of family is getting deeper, and the roles they'll play one day are becoming more real. Their connection with Camilla could influence how people see the next chapter of the royal family. Will there be warmth and unity, or will the distance remain? Nobody truly knows yet. But whatever happens, it will say a lot about how the royals handle change, forgiveness, and family. This moment in royal history shows that even the most famous families struggle with the same emotions as everyone else. Their name might carry centuries of tradition, but their hearts still feel joy, tension, and sadness like anyone else's. Meanwhile, the world keeps its eyes on the younger generation. George, as the future king, is already living under the weight of responsibility. Every parenting choice made by William and Kate feels like it's helping shape the kind of leader he will become. Princess Charlotte has become someone people truly admire, not just because of her royal title, but because of the way she naturally connects with people during public outings. She carries herself with confidence, and even at her young age, there's a spark in the way she talks with crowds. Then there's Prince Louis, the little ball of energy who often steals the spotlight with his playful charm. His bubbly presence adds a touch of fun to the usually serious royal events. Together, the three royal children are giving everyone a look into a more modern royal family. The way they interact with their relatives, including Camilla, shows how things are slowly changing. They still follow royal manners, but at the same time, they aren't afraid to show their feelings. Unlike older generations who kept things very formal, these young royals seem to mix tradition with honesty and warmth. This new kind of openness didn't just happen by accident. It's a reflection of the way William and Kate are raising their children. They've been very careful about letting their kids grow up in a world where being kind, real, and emotionally aware is just as important as following rules. Their goal is to make the royal family feel less distant and more connected with everyday people. Of course, with all eyes constantly watching, things don't always go smoothly. The media plays a big role in shaping what people think. And sometimes the smallest interaction becomes headline news. That's exactly what's happening with Camilla's connection to the Wales children. The press watches every movement, every glance, and often turns simple family moments into stories with deeper meanings. This constant attention can make it hard to form a real bond. Still, what keeps the royal family strong is their ability to change with the times. Even though Camilla and the younger royals may not have the easiest road ahead, there's still a path to something better. They're in the early stages of building a relationship that could grow into something meaningful if given time and understanding. By choosing to be open about their journey, the royal family is finding ways to keep their traditions alive while living in a world that expects honesty and relatability. People will keep watching how Camilla bonds with George, Charlotte, and Louis. Not just because of who they are, but because those connections say so much about where the royal family is headed. These young royals are stepping into roles that will define the future of the crown. How they handled the emotional and social weight placed on their shoulders will shape not just their personal paths, but also the public's trust in the royal family. Their experiences offer the world a chance to see that kindness and strength can still shine even when life is complicated. A single moment, an honest reaction from a child, has already started to challenge long-held beliefs within the royal household. That one expression of truth has caused traditions to shake. And it may just lead to better connections for a better future. The Wales children may live inside palace walls, but they go through the same emotional ups and downs that many families face. Only their moments are watched by millions. Charlotte, the only girl among the three, has made a name for herself with how easily she connects with people. She carries herself with grace beyond her years, and often shows a quiet strength when it matters most. It's not just about smiling for the cameras. She truly cares, especially when it comes to looking out for her younger brother. Despite being the middle child, she shines with a confidence and sweetness that's hard to miss. Her mix of playful energy and surprising maturity makes her stand out every time the family appears in public. Meanwhile, Louis, the youngest of the three, brings his own kind of magic. He's the spark that lights up even the most serious royal outings. Whether it's his curious expressions or the way he speaks his mind without thinking twice, Louis adds something very real and refreshing to the royal image. People are drawn to him because he doesn't hide his emotions. He reminds everyone that even princes are just kids at heart. His bold personality makes royal watchers smile, even though it's not always easy being that visible at such a young age. What's beautiful is how each of the children adds their own rhythm to the family dynamic. George tends to take the lead. Charlotte keeps things steady with her thoughtful nature. And Louis keeps the joy alive with his spontaneous spirit. Together, they create a balance that feels honest and natural. Even though they belong to a institution, it's a side of royalty that feels real, and people notice. William and Kate have done everything they can to keep their children grounded. They're raising them to understand duty, but also to live freely when the cameras aren't flashing. Their move to Adelaide Cottage was more than just a change of scenery. It gave the kids space to grow up close to their grandmother while enjoying a more private life. Choosing Lambrook School was part of that plan. It's a place where the children can enjoy sports, arts, and friendships without constantly being reminded of who they are. Even in a world filled with tradition and rules, the Wales family is finding ways to help their children's individuality grow, and in every little routine and quiet choice they make, they're creating a childhood that's as normal as it can be. Even for young royals, the Wales family has created some heartwarming routines that make their home feel warm and full of love. Their Saturday mornings often start with pancake breakfasts, the kind of small moment that brings everyone together with laughter and comfort. They also enjoy cuddling up for movie nights and spending time outdoors doing exciting things as a family. These little traditions are more than just fun. They build strong bonds and give the children a sense of security, which matters even more when you're growing up in the public eye. These simple moments away from flashing cameras are where the real family memories are made. They aren't just sticking to old customs for no reason. They're changing them to fit a new way of life. And through these moments, George, Charlotte, and Louis are learning about kindness, strength, and how to stay calm, even when the whole world is watching behind. The sparkling image of royal life is a family trying to hold on to what truly matters. Like many modern families, they face challenges to managing how they are seen by the world, handling personal relationships, and keeping harmony behind the scenes isn't always easy. One clear example of this is the difference between how the kids connect with their Middleton grandparents and how they relate to Camilla. With the Middletons, there's an obvious warmth and ease, a closeness that comes naturally. But with Camilla, things feel a little more distant. It's not cold or unfriendly, just different. It reflects the kind of gentle friction that happens when two family worlds come together. Camilla has genuinely tried to build a connection with the young royals, but their relationship has a different rhythm. It doesn't come from a lack of trying. It's shaped by many things: age gaps, backgrounds, personalities, and the emotional weight left behind by Princess Diana. Her memory still lives deeply in the hearts of many, and that quiet presence seems to influence how things unfold even now. At one point, something small was said that made people speculate about everything. People love to read between the lines when it comes to royal news. But the deeper truth lies in the way these relationships play out naturally. A particular moment at Westminster Abbey showed how much things are changing. In the middle of such a formal setting, there was an unspoken shift, subtle but powerful. It was proof that even the most polished traditions can't hide what's real. Moments like these might feel awkward from the outside, but they also make the royal family seem more real. They remind people watching around the world that this is still a family with real emotions, unspoken tensions, and genuine love. George's calm confidence, Charlotte's gentle nature, and Louis's playful spark are all signs that the next generation is already shaping their own path. Their story is still being written. They're growing up with both the pressure of royal duties and the freedom of a more modern childhood. Watching them navigate it all makes people feel like they're part of something bigger, like they're watching a new chapter of the royal family, being written in real time. And at the center of this change is Camilla. Her journey from being seen as an outsider to becoming queen consort hasn't been smooth. The public has taken its time warming up to her, but now that she's stepped into this role, she's working hard to show a different side of herself. Camilla has spent years trying to settle into a place within the royal circle. Despite her efforts to appear warm and supportive, her past still hangs around, and that history continues to shape how people see her. One major reason for the tension is that Princess Diana's memory hasn't faded. It's actually grown stronger, especially in Prince William's heart. Her legacy plays a huge role in how he lives, how he leads, and most importantly, how he raises his own children. Because of this, the bond between Camilla and William's kids has always felt a little complicated. William and Kate have shown kindness toward Camilla, always polite and respectful, especially in public. But there's never been the kind of closeness that comes with deep family bonds. Their children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, are friendly toward Camilla. But it's clear that their comfort level with her isn't the same as with their maternal grandparents, Carol and Michael Middleton. The warmth they share with the Middletons is more natural, while their interaction with Camilla seems more careful. They even call her Gaga, which is sweet in its own way. But it also shows that her place in their lives is not quite the same as a typical grandmother. This gap between Camilla and the Wales children becomes even more obvious during big family events. One clear example was during Trooping the Colour last year. While the young royals had fun and made everyone smile with their playful energy beside their parents and King Charles, Camilla looked more like someone quietly standing on the sidelines. King Charles was lively and involved with the children, clearly enjoying their company. But Camilla's moments with them looked more prepared than natural. People watching noticed a lack of the closeness that usually comes with family love. And it made many wonder about her true role in the children's lives. The emotional distance goes beyond personalities. It's also about the past and the feelings tied to it. William's deep love for his mother affects everything from how he treats his family to the values he teaches his children. Diana is a constant presence in their home. Her memory is kept alive through stories, pictures, and conversations. And her influence continues to shape George, Charlotte, and Louis as they grow. They've grown up hearing about her, not just as a royal figure, but as someone loving, kind, and brave, a grandmother they never met, but feel they know. For many people, the love and loyalty to Diana makes it hard to fully accept Camilla in the same space. Her connection to the pain Diana went through is not forgotten, and for some, that creates a barrier. On top of that, Camilla already has her own family, children, and grandchildren from her first marriage, and her